Here is something most developers do not realize. The vast majority of Sass users only reach for it because of one feature: nesting. And in 2023, browsers quietly shipped that exact feature natively. For a huge chunk of projects, the preprocessor is now dead weight. Today, we look at when you can drop Sass entirely and when you still cannot. Here is a typical Sass component file. Nested rules for the title and body, a hover state, nothing fancy. This is the pattern that made Sass famous a decade ago. The compiler walks the nest and flattens everything into plain CSS selectors. The output panel below is what actually ships to the browser. Every Sass project carries a build step just to perform this one transformation. Multiply that across thousands of projects, and a lot of build complexity exists for this single feature. Now the same component, written in native CSS. The syntax is almost identical. Nested selectors, the ampersand for the hover state. No imports, no compiler, no source maps. The browser parses this file directly. Chrome shipped it in version 1.12, Safari in 16.5, and Firefox in 1.17. All three landed in 2023, and the feature has been stable ever since. Dropping Sass is not just a syntax win. It deletes an entire build stage. No build dependency on the Sass compiler, no watch task, no source maps to debug back to the original file. Hot reload happens at the speed of a CSS file save because the browser is reading the exact file the developer wrote. For small teams and side projects, that is one less moving part to maintain forever. For larger teams, it shrinks the install size and the cold start time of every new contributor. 4 sharp edges to know before you migrate. First, in the original spec, element selectors needed an ampersand prefix. That requirement was relaxed in 2023, but older Safari builds still trip on it. Second, nested rules compile to the IsPseudo class under the hood, which can quietly raise specificity in ways the old Sass output did not. Third, the parser cannot always tell a property from a type selector, so ambiguous lines may fail silently. Starting a nested selector with the ampersand is the safe habit. Fourth, nesting is descendant by default, not child. A nested rule still matches grandchildren unless the child combinator is written by hand. Native nesting does not replace everything Sass does. Mixins still have no native equivalent, so reusable rule blocks remain a Sass win. The use and forward module system gives larger codebases real encapsulation across files. Color functions like lighten and darken are convenient, although the new relative color syntax in CSS is starting to close that gap. Math beyond what Calc supports, and the for loop for generating utility classes at build time still belong to Sass. If a project leans on any of those features, the preprocessor is doing real work and should stay. Sass is no longer the default. For a fresh project that only needs nesting and variables, native CSS now covers the ground that used to require a compiler. For a design system with mixins, modules, and color math, Sass still pulls its weight. The honest answer is to audit the style sheet. If nesting is the only feature in use, the build step can leave today.